Hey, it's Doris with all the books, and the stack is rather tall today. I forget how many there are here, I think 16 or something like. These are my favorites from 2018, my favorite fiction books. And yeah, I didn't think that I needed to regulate myself, so there's this whole stack. And I have divided them into 4 categories. There are books I loved but that may be perceived as flawed, and I understand that. There are a couple of, well, a YA and a middle grades, and then there are just great books, and I dare you to say anything bad about them. And then my favorite 3. So these are not ranked really, except for the last 3 are indeed my favorites. And but they're not even, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'm not going to say a great deal about any of these because there's a bunch. So let's just dive right in. Okay, this first section, there may be, you know, flaws, but I love them anyway. Melmoth by Sarah Perry. I was just fascinated by this book. I read it in the fall, which was absolutely perfect for the gothic vibe. Every time Melmoth herself walked on the scene, I was mesmerized. I was very much intrigued with the historical aspect. There are several different historical scenes, and I was there for that. This one is so richly layered and thematically deep, and I loved it. I need to read it again because I felt like I didn't quite get everything, but yeah. Most of these are flawed. There are mixed reviews out on them because this story doesn't come together as well as you would expect. So this one is perceived as maybe choppy and jumping around a little too much. This one, Sight by Jessie Greengrass. If you are into, you want to read more about becoming a mother for the second time, and how that plays into your identity as a woman, yeah. Even, you know, being married. And this one does this really cool thing where it weaves in basically essays about 3 or 4 different nonfiction areas. You know, there's one on an artist and one on like x-rays. I forget what all, it's been a while, but another very intellectually stimulating book that this, if you're reading for story and characterization, this isn't the one for you. But if you're reading for exploring themes, especially about motherhood, yeah. Okay, and then the Overstory by Richard Powers. This one, if this one had stopped at 150 pages, it would have been a 5-star read for me. The first 150 pages are written as several short stories, and they're not even connected. They're connected thematically around trees, obviously, but that's it until the very last one starts pulling them together. But those were brilliant. The nature writing in here is stunning, absolutely stunning. It is a hefty tome, and even for me, this one lost focus. It wandered. The second, well, the second 2/3 just wandered. Didn't really come together in the end for me, but the nature writing and the message about the importance of trees, wowzers. Okay, and then Florida by Lauren Groff. I was born and raised in North Florida. Love my home state. And Lauren Groff is a transplant to North Florida, but she loves it. She loves it the way I do. She sees it and knows it. Her writings about Florida are gorgeous. They just made my heart sing. Now, the reason I put this in the flawed stack is because some people have said it's too samey, and I can see that, you know, with the different stories just being more of the same. To me, I felt like it was almost autobiographical, and she was just living in the skins of her characters, and I loved that. But I did put it in the love it but flawed pile because I adored about half of the stories in here, and then the other half were okay. One I didn't like so much. But I think that's par for the course with short story collections. You just don't love them all. Okay, and then They're There by Tommy Orange. This is the one that focuses on the Native American population in urban environment out on the West Coast. And this one also is written in that short story format. These are more interconnected as you go along. The characters start twining around each other. But what I loved about this was the way Tommy Orange took issues that he saw within his own community and humanized them. And his writing, it was just brilliant. I'm very much on board for reading more from Tommy Orange. Okay, and now we have the YA and middle grade. I have The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. This one came out a few years ago, and I just picked it up from Book Outlet. Blew me away, absolutely. Take a gander at this cover, and I don't know if you can read. I hope you can read the titles under these animals on the back too. This book deals with rape culture, murder, violence in the teen community, and it is handled tremendously. This book was so impactful. It was just dynamic. A hard read, definitely. Did I mention rape? But yeah, tremendous work. And then on a much lighter note, Nevermoor, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. What a delight. This was so delightful. It's just fantasy, a new fantasy series, and I was just, creativity in this book, the world building is adorable and the characters are adorable, and I was just excited to be in on the ground floor of a new great series. I think this is just going to be awesome, an awesome read through the next few years. Okay, now I have some more really great books, literary fiction. That was one thing I laughed about when I didn't you know, give myself any direction. I just went through my list of reads, the 5-star ones, and started writing down names of the ones that I thought were so great. And I noticed, you know, I feel like I read very eclectically, but I noticed once I got done with this stack, they were all literary fiction. There are 2 or 3 that might not be strictly categorized as literary fiction, like the middle grade and the YA. Maybe not, I would argue about that. And then there's a classic that we'll get to. But yeah, I love to read everything, but I think literary fiction is my big scene. I love it. Anyway, next up we have A Man Called Uva by Frederik Backman. I have been wanting to read this one for years and finally got to it, and this book made me so happy. I love a happy read. And this one, I mean, a crabby old man and interfering young couple with 2 adorable daughters and a scruffy cat. What more do you want in life? This was delightful. If you're one of the few that have not read it yet and you need a happy place, here it is. Okay, and then Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Again, made me so happy to read this. I love a good, quirky, negative character. Uva was like that. Eleanor is like that. And the other thing I really loved about this was this line that Gail Honeyman walked between showing that we need people in life. We all need other people. But not falling into that trap of you have to have a man to fix your problems. Or, you know, a woman if you're on the flip side. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Loved it. Happy day. Okay, and then this next one is just pure story. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. There were 3 characters in this story that I loved them. I cared so much about what happened to them. And, you know, they were flawed, but they were great. The story was very engrossing, a page turner. The literary themes were there, and nature writing, hello, you know I'm there for that. So this one is a home run. It ticks all the boxes. Good stuff. And then Barbara Kingsolver's Unsheltered. This one's really cool too, again with the nature. This one is a dual timeline, present day and the past. I forget the year, but during the Scopes trial. And this one, you know Barbara Kingsolver, she's got to talk about some issues. This one, she so well walks that line of the current political scene and pulling another political scene from the past and just giving you a little bit of hope that, you know, this too shall pass, because we've been there before. And we have, you know, it's bad right now, but we've been there before. So, you know, Barbara, her themes and her writing, man, she knows how to write. She writes in my love language. Okay, West by Carys Davies. Another great read. And this one, she didn't waste any words with this. She knew where to end it. She stuck the landing. Oh, so good. This one is a story of going out west, but out west is Kentucky at this point in time. It's a historical fiction. Coming of age. There is some childhood stress, potential trauma, a girl becoming a teenager, you know where that goes. You can guess, I imagine. But this is just so whimsical and beautiful. The nature writing again, and reading it with Sean, the book Maniac, was a delightful experience too. We made a great pair of videos together. Such a fun time. I will always love this book. And then Washington Black by S.C. Edugyan. This one I read with Jacqueline and Kendra. I think Kendra. This one is set during the 1800s in the U.S. Well, all over the world. It wasn't the U.S. It was on one of the islands and then went into Canada and then back over to the UK. You've got nature again, but with the oceans, and it explores the topic of the white savior in the slave trade. So much in here, and her writing was amazing. That's what I love about literary fiction. The themes and the symbolism and, you know, the thoughts, all the thoughts. Whew. Okay, now we're due the last 3. These are my favorites for the year, and not only that, they've reached that upper echelon of these are some of my all-time favorites for life. So, dun dun dun, Barbara Kingsolver, The Poisonwood Bible. Wow. Blew me away. This one is missionaries in Africa, and, you know, a little bit of colonialism, and, you know, our impact on that world and that environment. Oh, gosh. I am here. I am here for illusion and symbolism and metaphor. I'm here for that. I am. This was a brilliant read, truly. And Barbara Kingsolver made my list 3 times. Twice for fiction and another time for nonfiction. What a woman. And then, you know it's coming. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck's my man. Jacqueline and I had brilliant conversations about this. I knew on the first page that I had to annotate it. Again, with the biblical allusions, and how to treat people. That's John Steinbeck's specialty, is exploring how we should treat people, all people, and focused on, you know, specific groups of people. And if you've not read East of Eden and you call yourself a Steinbeck fan like I did, you need to go there, because he thought this was his masterpiece, and I'm in agreement. And last, but certainly not least, and I think it's interesting to note that Poisonwood Bible is well on its way to becoming a modern classic. You can just look on Goodreads and see that happening. East of Eden is considered a modern classic, and I think it's interesting that my top 3 books here are reaching that classic category. And then finally we have a straight up classic, Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. This book had my heart. It's not even a lover's triangle, it's a lover's rectangle, and he handles it, he balances it so well. You're looking at human nature, and again with the nature writing, I'm sorry, that's just my thing. This book was so beautiful. Gabriel Oak is everything. So there you go, that's my top books for the year. I posted my favorite nonfictions yesterday in case you missed it. Let me put this here. That needs to be my thumbnail. Ta-da! Thanks so much for watching. 2018 was a great year, and 2019, fingers crossed, it's even better. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye!